Hello everyone, this is Jan Chromi and together we will continue the course Interdisciplinary Approaches to Language and its Use. In this presentation we will turn our attention to the so-called good enough approach to sentence comprehension. Various approaches implicitly suggest that we use all available linguistic information during sentence comprehension. However, we may ask whether it is really so. It is clear that we can fairly understand each other even if we do not get the whole signal, such as while communicating in noisy environment. But it may be also that we do not need all the information in the sentence to understand it. We already mentioned prediction a few times. If we are able to predict what comes next, we might not need to process this information at all. If I would say Prague is a capital city of you may be quite sure that the next two words are Czech Republic. Therefore, you may not need to put an effort in processing the end of the sentence. Another situation might be a conversation with someone you do not really want to talk to. I assume that you have an experience that you engaged in a conversation without really spending much effort to process fully what the other person says. In other words, our processing may be quite shallow. To process all the information might be cognitively very demanding. Often, we do not want to spend too much effort. Therefore, our language processing system builds up representations of the input that are good enough given the task we engage in. A classic example is the question, how many animals of each kind did Moses take on the ark? People typically respond 2. And if you doubt their answer, they often cannot really find out why it should be wrong. The problem is that Moses did not take anyone on the ark, at least according to the Bible. Instead, it was Noah. But while processing this question, people do not typically notice this difference. This is something which has been coined Moses illusion. Moses illusion was examined in the study by Thomas Erikson and Mark Madsen in the early 1980s. In this study, the authors showed that this illusion occurred in 81% of participants. However, they also found that semantic similarity is needed to maintain the illusion. For example, when they used the question, how many animals of each kind did Nixon take on the ark, everyone noticed the problem. Erikson and Madsen thus showed that our processing may be indeed shallow. In the previous presentations, we discussed the garden path sentences such as while Erica dressed the boy in the room cried. We said that the readers initially tend to analyze the phrase the boy as an object of the first clause and then, when they encounter the verb cried, they do the reanalysis. Studies in the late 20th century tacitly supposed that the false initial analyses, such as that Erica dressed the boy, are abandoned. But is that really so? This idea was tested by Kiel Christianson and his colleagues in a seminal paper, Thematic Roles Assigned Along the Garden Path Linger. Their hypothesis was that the initial misanalysis of garden path sentences lingers in memory. In other words, that the analysis Erica dressed the boy will not be abandoned even after encountering the verb cried and doing the reanalysis. Christianson and his colleagues used sentences like, while Anna dressed the baby that was small and cute spit up on the bed, and the baby that was small and cute spit up on the bed while Anna dressed. These sentences convey the same meaning, but the first sentence is a garden path sentence, and the nominal phrase the baby here should be initially analyzed as an object of the verb dressed. After reading these sentences, the authors asked the participants comprehension questions, such as did Anna dress the baby, which targeted the initial misanalysis. Christianson and his colleagues found that there was a huge difference in the response correctness. After reading the garden path sentence, while Anna dressed the baby that was small and cute spit up on the bed, 65.6% of participants responded yes to the comprehension question, did Anna dress the baby? After reading the control sentence, the response error rate was only 12.5%. The authors interpret this finding as an evidence for the idea that people often do not abandon the initial misanalysis. They claim that our processing is often good enough and shallow. Before we will conclude this presentation, I have one reading tip for you. If you would like to find out more about the good enough approach to language comprehension, you should read a recent theoretical study by Hossein Karimi and Fernanda Ferreira, Good Enough Linguistic Representations and Online Cognitive Equilibrium in Language Processing. If you enjoyed the presentations, we would be glad if you would like them on YouTube. That is all from me now. See you next time.